Friends, hello dear students. This is Wahid Ahmed and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to talk about thesis writing or report writing. Many of my fellows are or my students are facing the problem while they are writing report or thesis. What is the pattern of report writing? I am going to discuss in very detail in the next lecture, but I am going to give the brief introduction about the report writing in this video. There are major four sections you have to write in your report writing. Basically, one is the introduction or a review of literature, which is also called review of literature. Second part is methodology. Third are the results, and at the final discussion. And how to cite a reference is one of the major problem for my students. So in the next lesson, I'm also going to discuss about how to cite on the endnote or using Mendeley, so that so that you could realize what problems are in writing a manual references. So I'm going to discuss in detail here. Okay. First of all, I'm going to define that introduction or review of literature is a certain part of thesis that defines your topic. What are your aims? What are your objectives? And what study have been done up till now? For example, taking an example of a technique which is being performed on certain gene. I'm going to consider that suppose BRCA1 gene. That is a gene, and I want to study how I want to optimize a technique which is called PCR. So I'm going to tell you that how you are going to define your introduction. In introduction, I am going to study about the BRCA1 gene. So I have to discuss in detail what is BRCA1 gene, what type of protein it encodes, and if you're studying with reference to specific disease, that could be any cancer, that could be any other disease that is involved in which the BRCA1 protein might be involved. That is, you have to find all the papers all your papers from the PubMed, or basically you can find it on Science Hub. If you are not able to download, that cost you may go to Science Hub and you can download the free papers from there, so that you can access a variety of literature. I would suggest you to go for review papers of your topic. That would be a better would provide a better insight into your research theme. So in report writing, that is a different perspective in BS. So you have to optimize your technique actually. In thesis writing, you have to take the disease and you have to find the results, conclusive results. But in report writing, you have to define that you have performed such techniques and were they applicable on that, basically on that, I mean to say on that disease. So like for one, I am taking BRCA1 gene breast cancer or something like that. I have designed the primers. I'm going to in detail detail lesson on how to design primers, even how to perform DNA extraction, how to go for the PCR. I'm going to have detailed session on that. So my dear students, first of all, you have to write down introduction. Introduction is basically defining your topic, and with that you have to define your aims. It may be from animal lab. If anyone is working with regarding physiology, so he might define his own parameters. But review of literature is done by studying the reviews and different research articles. And one of the most important perspective in your research, you should download the latest review articles or research paper from the website. So you have to download that, and from there you have to select that content that is relevant to your topic, and you have to find what gray area is left on that topic, or you are defining that gray area. You have already defined your topic, so you can cite all the literature from there. And introduction of a thesis or report writing might be consist of 10 to 12 pages, or normally 15 pages, and you have, with each line or each perspective you have mentioned in your introduction, that should be cited. That should be cited to the scientist which he has she has written the article. So you have to cite that. From where it is simple to go. It is simple to search your research articles relating to your topic to the Google Scholar. Just mention the keywords, and you would have variety of review literature from the recent time. Okay. The second part, I'm going to discuss about the methodology. That is very important in research. One thing you have to keep in your mind, you don't need to copy the methodology that is performed by other persons, or that has been written in the thesis or in some research paper. You have to be original. What you perform, write in your original words. But basic problems lie with that how should be English followed on. That's a problem for our students. I'm going to discuss in detail that you should write in methodology by detail. How to write a methodology, what techniques you perform, handwritten, that will remove the plagiarism. Remember that you have to remove your plagiarism. Your plagiarism should be less than 70%, so that it might validate your report or thesis. So the next part of your thesis or report writing would be results. Results, in this case, if I am defining a certain topic, as such, you have to find a polymorphism, or you have to amplify a certain gene. You should show the bands. If you're performing general electrophoresis, you should show the band in the results that you have amplified the region. If you're going for sequencing, that's an advanced research in certain cases for MPhil, but not for the in MPhil that is going to perform in MPhil. For the BS level, you have to show that results that you have successfully amplified the PCR product, or you have performed successfully the technique. So if you are able to show that, that is well and good. But here there is a difficulty in writing the results. So be original in your results. What you obtain, write that. Don't copy or don't try to manipulate your results. Okay. And minimum citation is needed in methodology and results. And the final, I am going to give an overview of discussion. The problem with discussion is that you have to cite the literature, but critically. If you have failed, or if you have received negative result, or if you have received positive result, you have to justify in the discussion. I'm going to discuss each and every aspect in detail in the next session. But my dear students, you should define the topics. Give me 1 or 2 topics so that I could clearly discuss how to write a thesis against that, so that we could have a live video session regarding it, or I could go for preparing of lectures regarding the topics. So I want to ask you what type of topic you want me to discuss to write for the report writing. And if you are able to write the thesis or report writing these 4 chapters, then keep in mind then you have to write an abstract. Abstract can't be written at first stage because your results are still not discussed, your discussion has been not been defined yet. So abstract is actually the summary of your all thesis or report writing, and in detail I am going to share the template regarding report writing. So first of all, you need to subscribe my channel if you like the video. I share and comment so that I could easily share with you the template for thesis writing, and I would also help you out. Just please define your topics and comment so that I could help you out in this lecture by delivering a lecture. Thank you so much. You're welcome.